remember opening the canopy of the airplane, coming out. It was just like a scene out of a movie. It's like I was seeing everything in slow-mo, my guy. Like everybody, like cars were coming out of everywhere, like firefighters. Like, whoa, chill, you know. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy FlyJV, and I'm back with another video. So, first of all, I want to say to all my guys, Happy New Year, you know, and thanks to this lovely person who's holding the camera for me right now, you know. And yeah, basically, I just want to wish you all the best. I want to wish you all health, wealth, happiness, and the strength to be able to go towards your goals and do what you want to do. Now, I promised you a Q&A at 50,000 subscribers. We're at 68,000 subscribers right now, so we're going to make that happen right after we look at the beautiful landscape. So, anyway, happy 2020. Don't forget, in 2020 what I want to reach 100,000 subscribers. We're going to make that happen soon. I want all of you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to turn on the bell notifications so you get like notified for all my videos. I want you to like my stuff, and I want you to follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter. Everything is in the description down below. Everything is there. So without further ado, let's start the video, bro. Let's go. By popular demand, I'm bringing you the Q&A, question and answer, airline pilot. Here I am. Let's get into it. I've got 50,000 subscribers and I've promised that I will be doing this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. FlyJV for real. Question number 1 is from Marian JKB. How old were you when you started flying a plane? I was 16 years old when I started flying gliders, and I was 20 years old when I started flying motorized airplanes, single engine piston airplanes, when I was in flight school. Crystal Dark asks, do you need to go to university to be able to apply for flight school? The answer is no, you do not have to, but going to university is definitely a good asset and a good backup in terms of knowledge. He said, if no, where do I start after completing high school to become a pilot? Look at, if you're in Europe, for example, I would tell you to look at schools like CAE, Oxford, FTE, CTC, that provide you with an integrated full ATPL training, because you're not trying to go to a school which will just give you bits and pieces of PPL, CPL, and you have to like do a modular type of thing. You want to do something complete, a full syllabus from A to Z, 0 to hero. You want to do everything, right? So that's what I'm telling you to do. So you're gonna have to make some research. Okay, Super Pickle 23 _ YT asks, how did you become a pilot? There's a full 30-minute video on my channel about this. Check it out, bro. Wrong number Z asks, do grades affect chance of getting into a good flight school or airline? Your grades in flight school definitely, considerably, tremendously affect whether or not you'll get picked by an airline, because when you have no experience in flying, the only thing they can base you off is what teachers say about you, what grades you got in your official exams, whether it's EASA or FAA, and just how you've been performing generally. So if you don't have good grades, how are you going to get a job, you know? So yeah, you have to be very, very studious. You have to work very hard to make sure you get above average grades to be joining the good airline, because if you're just average, you're not going to be the first choice. That's a definite. Then he asked, what plane did you first fly when you were a student pilot? As a student pilot, the first aircraft I flew was the PA-28, the Piper Warrior. It's a single engine piston airplane, and it was pretty cool. Carlito Humalion asks, how do you become a pilot? There's a 30-minute video on my channel explaining that, bro. Check it out. Noah Wigton, How long have you been flying the A320? And congrats on the 50K. Well, thank you very much for the congratulations. I've been flying the A320 for a bit over a year now. Raj Jala asks, bro, love from London. Yo, love you too, bro. Love from where I'm from. Literally seen you grow from 2K subscribers to 50K. Keep grinding. Thank you very much for sticking around for so long and for rocking with the channel. I appreciate that, bro. Yo, I hope you're gonna be here when we reach 100K. That's gonna be coming. Question: what workout plan do you follow, and how often do you go to the gym? Okay, so the workout plan I used to follow before I got actively into flying for an airline is I used to work out 4 to 5 times a week, and I would do splits. So I would do chest, traps, and triceps on one day. Then I would do shoulders and biceps on another day. Then I will do back and forearms, and then I will do legs. Okay, but now with my schedule that's a bit tighter, I only have about time to go to the gym maybe 2 or 3 times a week if I'm lucky. So what I do is I still do the same splits, but during the days that I know I can't go to the gym, for example, if I got a flight early in the morning, or I know I'm going to be flying for a few days, I'll just wake up and at home I'll just do 3 sets of 20 to 30 push-ups and a few squats. And I also got some dumbbells at home, so I can do some biceps, I can do some, some tricep kickbacks, I can do some hammer curls, I can do some regular curls. Workout plan, definitely, if you can, 4 to 5 times a week. Split it in multiple days, in multiple muscles, and basically just always make sure you have at least 2 days of rest during the week, because if you don't, you won't grow. Okay, so Oliver Gimeno asks, question: do you recommend doing all the hard work to be a pilot? And by the way, congratulations on 50K, but you deserve much more, man. Thank you very much. I'm really happy you believe I deserve much more. I'll definitely keep putting in the work to get much more. And for your question, I'll just answer it like this. I do not recommend putting in hard work in something that you don't want to do. If you do not want to be a pilot, do not put hard work into becoming a pilot, because you'll just end up resenting the job, and it will end up resenting your own life. For somebody who wants to be a pilot, yes, I do recommend putting in the hard work. But if you don't want to be a pilot, then don't. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say with your question, bro. Young Leper asks, what motivated you to be the most to become a pilot? Did you ever consider to become a military pilot? Congrats on 50K, keep it up, man. Thank you very much. Bro, I've always wanted to be a pilot. Ever since I was a young kid, I was always inspired by pilots. I was always interested in aircrafts and just the whole flight thing, etc. I spent a lot of my childhood traveling. I traveled a lot. Africa, United States, Canada, and it just always fascinated me. I spent a lot of times in cockpits and cabins, and so I've really just never pictured myself doing anything in my life as a career other than being a pilot. So I hope that answers your question. Military pilot, I did actually think about it when I was younger, but it was just like because I thought it was cool to fly like F-18s and stuff like that. But really, realistically, in the way my lifestyle is set up, I don't really think I'd like to be a military pilot, really. I'd love still to fly F-18s if I get the opportunity to, but apart from that, I'm not really trying to be in the military, bro. So, MT Pixel asks, why most airlines require 1,500 hours of flying, and how to make these 1,500 hours? Having 105,000 hours of flying basically allows you to unfreeze your ATPL and have a full ATPL, which basically means you're ready to take command of an aircraft. You're basically ready to become an airline captain. And how to make these 1,500 hours? You have multiple options, bro. You can become an instructor at a flight school to build hours. You can join a low hour, you can join an airline that allows low hour pilots to apply. And, or you can, alternatively, which is not the most preferred way of doing it, you can pay for hours. And by that I mean you can pay to go to some aero club and just fly and build your hours. I know people that have done that. Or you can go to an airline that does pay to fly. So you pay to basically build hours in an airline, but you're not paid, you're paying to fly for them. So that's not the most ideal situation, but I'm guessing a lot of people, if you don't really have the choice, you can do that. So that's the 4 options you've got, bro. Corentin Voituron asks, thank you for your video. You bring me back the motivation to continue my formation. This guy is French, so salut Corentin. Q, how did you work your English website travel books? I've lived a lot of my life in Canada in English or bilingual countries, so ever since I was a kid I was able to speak English. But the best way is just to immerse yourself in an English environment. That's the way, bro. That's basically how I learned, but I was very young, so that was definitely a good thing for me, Gamer Prince Salisha asks, is it hard to fly an airplane? Well, I'll tell you this, it's not easy. That's all I can say, because it's really hard to explain to somebody who's never flown an airplane before. So, D Dubu Egg asks, are you a good pilot? Well, I'll tell you this, D Dubu. What I believe about my skills as a pilot don't matter. What matters is the amount of work I put in each day to learn and become better. But I will also tell you this, I'm nowhere near as bad as they say that I am, and I am not as good as they say I am. But I put in the work to make sure I'm way above average. At least in my mind and the way that I see it. I hope that makes sense. Christiansen says, favorite YouTuber, oh my god. I know this is not a question, but it's a nice comment, so I just had to acknowledge that. Thank you very much, Sindre. It means a lot to me, and I'm really happy you enjoy my videos. I hope you'll be here for 100K. Let's make it happen. Patrick Crispler asks, is it allowed to ask some technical questions? Of course, it's an aviation channel, my man. If yes, one, what's an ALS? An ALS stands for Approach Lighting System. It's basically the lights that you see when you approach a runway to land. Two, how does a fuel inerting system work? A fuel inerting system has to do with fuel tanks. The fuel inerting system basically takes the air that pressurizes the tanks and reduces the amount of oxygen inside that air. So it starves the air from oxygen by reducing the percentage, and by doing that it reduces the risks of having a spontaneous combustion inside the tanks, making it more safe and preventing random fires to happen during flight. Emery Kusu, that's my guy. Are you going to continue gym playlists? Will you make video with Boeing pilot guests or with that beautiful flight attendant lady? Will you make informative videos about planes? Okay, that's a lot of questions. My man Emery, I will definitely continue the gym playlist. Will you make video with that Boeing pilot guests? Definitely interested in collabing with other YouTubers or pilots, Boeing. I'm gonna be definitely interested. That beautiful flight attendant lady, yeah. I've shown her like a lot of the comments that she's been getting like on the videos and stuff, and she's definitely down to make a video, me and her, so we'll do that. Will you make informative videos about planes? I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but I will definitely make informative videos if I feel like it's going to be relevant to the channel and relevant to you guys. Okay, what's your favorite plane? I like the A350, 787, and your A380 in no particular order. I like these three airplanes, man. Sumya Deep asks, how do the flaps change? The flap change when you pull the flap lever. On the A320 we have flap 0, flap 1, flap 2, flap 3, and flap full. And so basically changing the lever's position moves the flaps. And the thing is, how it works is when you move the flaps lever, it sends an electric signal to the flight controls, which activates and operates hydraulically the control surfaces themselves for the flaps and the slats to deploy to the required angle for the configuration that you have. Wayne Troyer asks, what is it like to be flying through the sky at 38,000 feet to 41,000 feet in the air, knowing that you are responsible for up to 160 lives directly, but also for all those family members looking up to you to keep them safe? Well, let me tell you, Wayne, it's definitely a lot of freedom that you feel. Three-dimensional freedom is just amazing. You're away from everything. But at the same time, like you said, there's so many people in the aircraft. It makes you also realize the responsibility on your shoulders, and it makes you aware that you have to keep everybody safe, and it gives you, at least if you're somebody who's conscientious, it gives you that feeling of, I need to keep practicing, I need to be better, I need to repeat and make sure that all these people are safe when they're flying with me, because we have a duty. Ishan Toraskar asks, congratulations FlyJV, thank you bro. Best wishes to you bro, you are the inspiration for me, that means a lot, thank you very much for watching. I will pray to God for your success in the future, amen my man. So, my question to you is, which is the biggest and most luxury airplane you've ever flown? I hope you'll answer my question. Well, A350 or the Boeing 787 is definitely one of the most luxurious planes I've ever flown with. Sumya Deep again asks, what is APU? Why do pilots check the APU before takeoff? The APU stands for Auxiliary Power Unit. If you look at the back of the aircraft, it is inside there, it's in there. It's basically a self-contained unit, okay? It's a self-contained unit, which is basically an engine, like a gas turbine. But the difference with the APU and a gas turbine is that the APU does not actually produce thrust. APU is a device that allows to provide electrical power and pressurization and air conditioning to the aircraft. That's it. Now, why do we check it before takeoff? Is because obviously we want to make sure that it works, first of all, and secondly, we want to make sure that the fire works, because the main test is the APU fire test. Now, you will check that the fire test works because you don't want to be in flight and not have checked it, and you have a fire that is not detected because the fire doesn't work. The fire detection doesn't work. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you. Now, that is it for your question. I hope that makes sense, bro. Me Ease Gaming asks, how many courses did you take to become a first officer? So I had to go through selection exams to enter flight school, and then I had to do the ATPL theoretical exams, and I had to do the flight exams, PPL, CPL, IR, MCC, jet orientation course. Then I had to do my type rating, then I had to do my base training, and then I had to do my light training with my airline that I got employed with, and I became a first officer. So that is a lot of stuff. I hope that answers your question, my man. Alright, Retro Glossins again asks, why did you make this channel? I made this channel because, first of all, I've always wanted, ever since I was a kid, to like have a channel, a YouTube channel, to be able to give an insight on aviation and being a pilot and what we do in flights, etc., etc. I've always wanted to inspire people, entertain people on YouTube. I mean, I have a good personality. I'm pretty funny in a way. I believe I'm smart enough to articulate myself in front of the camera so that people can understand my thought process. And I believe that I can make this happen. There's not a lot of black pilots on YouTube who have a successful channel. And even if there are, like, I don't think most of them are consistent, or as consistent as I am, basically. So also, I've seen so many YouTubers that are pilots who seem to make it. So if they can do it, why not me? You know, that's really the reasons. Yeah. Thank you for your questions. Why did you choose to fly Airbus? I did not choose to fly Airbus. It was an opportunity and I took it. I could have been flying turboprop airplanes. I could have been flying Boeing, and that wouldn't have bothered me at all. It's just about opportunity. I applied to a job, I got the job, and thankfully for me, I was put. Can you say my name? My name is Daniel Wallet, and I love your videos. Daniel Wallet, I've said it, bro. This was asked by Mood Daniel. Evo Kaz, how do you steer a plane on the ground? You steer a plane on the ground by using something that is called a tiller. Tiller is basically a nose wheel steering device that is set on the extremity of where you're sitting. So I'm the first officer. I sit on the right side of the aircraft, and on the extreme right, there's a tiller that is basically like a hand wheel that you use to steer the aircraft on the ground. Chippy Fish asks, is it true that pilots can call off flights if they do not feel comfortable flying? Yes, and they should do it, because if you're sick or you haven't slept enough, or you're not in the state to fly, you should tell your company, because that is just putting you at risk and the entire crew and the passengers at risk as well. You should not do that. You also ask, what's the most intense moment in your flying career? There's two, actually. When I was in flight school, one time when I was on my multi-engine piston part of my training, during takeoff roll before V1, we actually oversped one of the engines. One of the engines started overspeeding, so we had to do a rejected takeoff. And by doing that and braking hard, one of the tires popped. Since the tire was popped, the aircraft became very slow to taxi. We taxied outside, the ATC was worried, we could hear it in his voice. And then it was just like a scene out of a movie, man. I had full adrenaline in my body, my blood was pumping, my heart was like going crazy. I was just like, I wasn't scared or anything, but I was just like very, like, I was in adrenaline, you know. I was not expecting that moment, so like, I was just like in attack mode, you know. I remember opening the canopy of the airplane, coming out. It was just like a scene out of a movie. It's like I was seeing everything in slow-mo, my guy. Like everybody, like cars were coming out of everywhere, like firefighters. Like, whoa, chill, like, you know. My second most intense moment was actually about 2 months ago. I was flying at about 37,000 feet, I think, and then we entered some turbulence, some medium turbulence, and we got struck by lightning, actually. And that was crazy because we got struck by lightning, and my ND and PFD displays both turned off and came back on a few seconds later, but they were switched, so it was pretty funny. But it started being a little bit less funny when we started losing altitude. We lost about 300 feet of steady altitude. The turbulence was going a bit crazy. With moderate turbulence, I'd say. Speed was going up to 10 knots, decreasing 5 knots, increasing 10 knots. It was just unstable. Aircraft kept going down. Captain turned off the autopilot, turned it back on to like try to stabilize the aircraft. And in the end, everything was fine, but it was just a crazy moment, like just overall. Flight attendants and stuff asked us about it when we landed. Just experience like these that make you better, I guess. All right, guys. So that was it for the Q&A, my guys. That was part one. I will make more. It will be a series, but the reason why I'm trying to make this into parts is because I want more people to ask me more questions in the future as well. So I will make another announcement for another Q&A, and you're free to ask questions at any time as well. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. It was FlyJV. I hope you're satisfied with this video. Happy New Year again. FlyJV forever. Let's get it.